Hello everybody, this is Tucker Miller here again, and tonight, like I said, for my next movie review, I'm going to be reviewing on Turbo. Came out in 2013. So, the plot of this movie is we got this garden snail named Turbo, who was voiced by Ryan Reynolds. Turbo dreams about becoming the world's fastest snail, and he also dreams about competing in the ND 500. So yeah, and then I believe Turbo got captured, and then Turbo met these other snails, like got this one snail named Whiplash, who was voiced by Samuel Jackson, and a few other snails, and then and this like villain who was voiced by Bill Hader, and then and it's up to Turbo to win in the ND 500, and that's basically what the plot is. Now, what do I have to say about Turbo? I like Turbo. I think it's a pretty good movie. But although I hardly remember this movie. I mean, I revisited it on my trip. It was pretty good. But still, I have not watched this movie since 2015. That's right. I had not watched this movie. I only watched this movie like a few times back in 2015 when it came out. And and that was it. I hardly remember anything from Turbo. I should maybe rewatch this one more. So, yeah. I need to get back to Turbo more often. Yeah. Honestly, plot is kind of hard to explain. But I'm sure I gotten it. So yeah. It's a pretty good movie. I enjoyed Turbo. But probably not as good as any other DreamWorks film like Shrek or How to Train Your Dragon or Kung Fu Panda. But, yeah. I definitely need to revisit Turbo. So, yeah. And I'm gonna say that I did not saw Turbo in theaters. I watched it like a few times, like on DVD. But yeah. I'll say this. When Turbo came out back in 2015, I actually really wanted to see Turbo. That's right. I really wanted to see Turbo in theaters. But sadly, I never got a chance to see it. Unfortunately. I just kind of waited till it came out on DVD. And yeah, I waited till it came out on DVD, and yeah. Well, the copy I watched wasn't like official DVD. It was a DVD that my uncle made for me. So yeah. Yeah, so I watched it and I enjoyed it, but then years later I forgot what the plot is all about. But yeah. Yeah, I did watch the film recently, not too long ago. And I think Turbo still holds up, but probably not as good as any other DreamWorks film like Shrek. So yeah. Yeah, like I said, I really wanted to see Turbo in theaters, but sadly, I didn't got my chance to see it. So yeah. I think the first time I watched Turbo, way before my uncle got me the DVD of it that he made. I think the first time I watched Turbo was in my aunt when I was homesick from school, so that when my aunt had to watch me because I wasn't feeling good, that I couldn't go to school. So yeah, I watched it in her car while we were waiting to pick up my cousins and my brother from school. So yeah, back in December of 2015, and I really liked it. So yeah, I remember that, and then I do remember watching it a few times when my uncle made me the DVD of it. So yeah, like although I barely remember. I don't remember much of this movie, but I think I got the plot right, and then yeah, I just can't remember all the characters. So yeah. Now speaking of the characters, let's talk about them. Turbo? Turbo is a great character. And I will have to say, Ryan Reynolds did a pretty good job voicing him. And Turbo's brother, I forgot what his name is. He's a good character. And Whiplash, I have to say he's a pretty good character. And I have to say Samuel Jackson, which we all know him as Frozone from The Incredibles. I have to say Samuel Jackson did a great job voicing Whiplash. And I cannot think of any of the other characters' names. The Tito, which is one of the other guys, one of the humans. Tito, he's a pretty good character, and yeah. And the villain, he's a weak villain. The Racer, who was voiced by Bill Hader, which we all know he voiced Fear from the first Inside Out movie. Bill Hader wasn't in the second Inside Out. Instead, Fear in Inside Out 2 is voiced by Tony Hale. But now back to Turbo. And Bill Hader was Flint Lockwood in Crowley with a Chance of Meatballs. But yeah. Yeah. That's all I can say about that. So yeah. The villain in this movie, Bill Hader's character, he's weak. But I'll say Bill Hader did a great job voicing him. But although his character is weak, he's a weak villain. Not one of my favorite DreamWorks villains. He's just not as good as any other DreamWorks villains like Lord Farquaad, Nemesis, Lord Farquaad from Shrek, Nemesis from The Prince of Egypt, and yeah. And Tai Wong from Kung Fu Panda. And yeah. And and the fairy godmother from Shrek 2, and yeah. And Shelley Duvall from Madagascar 3. But yeah. Yeah, he's just a weak villain. And is there any other character? There's none I could think of on top of my head. Not any other character. Or the scenes I want to talk about? Not really. I don't have any scenes I want to talk about. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it be. So yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just, I need to revisit Turbo. I mean, it's a pretty good movie, but I just don't remember much from it. So yeah, definitely need to revisit Turbo. So yeah. Yeah, not a bad movie, but just had to get back to it. And honestly, And yeah, the story, we heard the story before. You know, Disney Pixar's Cars. You know, Turbo is like Cars of all DreamWorks movies. So yeah. Yeah. Turbo is DreamWorks version of Cars. So yeah. Yeah, that's how I can say it. So yeah. That's all I can say about Turbo. But yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna give Turbo a 7 out of 10. I need to revisit Turbo more often. I watched it a few years back, but I need to get to it. I need to revisit it more often. So yeah. One day I'll revisit it more. So yeah. And I would say there's some flaws with it, but I don't know. I just don't remember much of this movie. But yeah. But I rewatched it. I revisited it recently, so yeah. I need to revisit it more though, so yeah. So anyways, that is it for my movie review on Turbo. And stay tuned for my next movie review, which will be on Mr. Peabody and Sherman. But until then, see you in the next video. Bye.